Beyoncé's Black is King, the highly anticipated visual album, has been a hot topic of discussion since its release. The film loosely follows the story of The Lion King and is set to the soundtrack of the 2019 remake of the movie. Black is King featured cinematic visuals, choreography, as well as the work of African artists like Tiwa Savage and Burna Boy. Naturally, after it dropped, people were excited. But as with many things on the internet, not everyone agreed. In fact, when the trailer dropped at the end of June, it was met with a lot of debate on Twitter, and when I say a lot, I really mean a lot. Some people loved the piece and felt it gave a great representation of the cultures and countries in Africa and the diaspora.
It very much seemed like a whole collation of beautiful different visuals from different places. It was like the Black experience, so not necessarily focused on Africans, but focused on all Black people.
Others felt like it could have been better.
I thought it was very well done. I think that Beyonce did do her research. At the same time, I just think that, the thing that made me sad is that I didn't see East Africans being represented.
The debate about Black is King has brought up some important questions about the representation of Africa in film and television. These conversations are not new. In fact, from around the 19th century, there were numerous encounters, cultural exchange, as well as moments of solidarity between Africa and the diaspora. The big question here is a film like Black is King an appropriate modern example of pushing these conversations and exchanges forward?
It's a very touchy and very sensitive issue to talk about what is the relation between Africans and African Americans or the diaspora in general. Sometimes, people don't want to get their hands burned by touching on that issue. But for me, I'm more, interested in the conversation, how this particular production forces Africa and the diaspora to have a dialogue.
Some of the critiques of Black is King have been met with a lot of backlash online.
Stan culture can be very toxic because these stans tend to think that just because someone is critiquing the artist, they are attacking the artist. When I watched Black is King, I also thought it was an excellent piece of work, but it doesn't mean that we can't have these conversations. I think it was still kind of, not telling the whole story in the sense of like it was only talking about a certain percentage of Africans who are royalty and whatever, and that's cool, but it makes like other people who are non-African think that that's all pre-colonial Africa was.
Beyoncé was the writer, director, and executive producer of Black is King, but the film also included the work of other Black creatives. So what does this mean for the future of African creatives in film?
It was really lovely seeing the different creative people as well in there, because it shows that, everyone's part of the bigger picture, or everyone wants to see this bigger picture. Everyone's trying to progress their craft.
With films like Black Panther coming out a few years ago and receiving great reviews, as well as series like Queen Sono and Blood and Water, now seems like an important time for the visibility of Black creators both in front and behind the camera.
In my own opinion, we are in the midst of Black Renaissance. We have more Black recognized and established and celebrated filmmakers right now than we may have in the past.
There's so many countries in Africa, there's so many different dialects, tribes, regions, etc. People do so many different things. I think this is now a great time to be able to really push out the products that we have, whether being a filmmaker, artist, etc., and really kind of show what has always been great.